the king of Fomo.
What's up, everybody? King of Fomo here, coming at you with your daily crypto update. Today we're going to talk about Gandhiji. This is a smart contract that is going through an evolution. So you guys probably remember this from 5 or 6 years ago if you've been with the channel for a while. This is a P3D type of contract. However, it is not anymore. It has evolved beyond that, and they're launching something new right now. As of June 20th, they have some NFTs that are for sale, and those NFTs are going to be sort of locked in to their new smart contract that they're launching, the SWJ token, which works similar to the P3D tokens, but the distribution I think is going to be a lot more fair. If you guys remember the P3D contracts of the past, people stopped using them because people figured out how to game them, and essentially you had whales buy up the contracts in the beginning, or insiders buy up the contracts in the beginning, and it was very unfair to everyone else in the platform. What Gandhiji is doing with this new SWJ token is basically you have the ability to buy these NFTs right now, and you will be part of the people that buy up the contract in the beginning. There's going to be, I think, close to 500 NFTs that are going to go for sale, and they're for sale for a pretty hefty amount. So all those people that are buying the NFTs are going to be the insiders, quote unquote, and have a big piece of this pie if the SWJ token does take off. Just like before when the P3D contracts, if they took off, if you were one of the first buyers, you earned a lot from that. So the same case is going to be true for the NFT holders if you're an NFT holder. Essentially what that means is it comes pre-packaged with the new contracts tokens, the SWJ tokens, and as people buy and sell those tokens, you're going to get a percent of you're going to get 10% of every single buy and sell that happens. So you're going to get dividends for each buy and sell that happens. So like I said, if this thing does take off, you can make a lot from it. I've done many P3D contracts in the past, and being an early person in those contracts can be very, very beneficial if they do well. And that's essentially what these NFTs are doing. If you believe in the system, or if you want to give it a chance or give it a shot and you think it's going to go up, then purchasing these NFTs will give you a automatic spot as a quote unquote first buyer in the whole system, and you're going to be able to make a lot from it if it is successful. So let's get some information, some details about all this stuff. The pre-sale started on June 20th, so this is pretty new, right? You're not late to the game at all. You're a little late because we're in the second phase. The first phase, for the first 150 NFTs, they were worth 0.25 Ethereum each. So a pretty hefty price. This is on the Ethereum blockchain, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that. Pretty hefty price, but now that's already passed. We're on phase 2. So the next 150 NFTs, since the first 150 were sold, are worth 0.5 each, 5 ETH each. So again, the price is hefty, but if you're getting these NFTs, you're getting a prepackaged amount of SWJ tokens, and if the SWJ token takes off, you will benefit a lot from that and potentially be able to make back, what you put in rather quickly if it does well. And then again, once we pass the second phase, if you're late, if you hesitate a little too much, each NFT is going to be worth 1 ETH each until they sell 201, or until whenever they decide to launch the SWJ token. Okay, so let's get into the details a little bit more about what is the SWJ token. So to figure out that, you guys have to click on this button at the top here where it says Explore Ecosystem, and it gives you a really good overview of how the whole system works. I'm not going to baby you through the whole thing because it's actually pretty easy to understand. It's not like there's not a lot of technical speak in here. So if you read through it, you're going to get a lot of good information from it. We're going to look at the meat and potatoes of the whole thing. So SWJ token works very similar to the IND token. That's the original token from the past, the P3D type of contract, except one of the main differences is there's no transfer tax, but a lot of the rest of it works the same. Like before, once people buy, the price of the token goes up, and on top of that, you get dividends from buying and selling of the token, right? And then you're able to do the same thing. If you buy some SWJ tokens, you'll get dividends on the way up, and if you decide to sell your tokens on the way up, you can sell for an even higher profit, depending on when you want to get out, or you can just stay in for the long run and get a lot of dividends from it. Now we'll talk more about kind of the results of people sticking around in Gandhiji and what worked with that in the past, because that was actually a really good idea. But we'll talk about that at the end. So that's the SWJ token. Now the SWJ token is not launched yet. We're going through the NFT phase first. And the main issue with P3D contracts in the past was snipers, right? Snipers and insiders, they would buy up so much of these tokens at the beginning, and then they would essentially get all of the profit, and everyone else would be out of luck because they dump the tokens and then move on with the next one. So that's why P3D contracts sort of went out of style. And I think with this method of launching this type of contract, it's a lot more fair, because people that believe in it from the get-go all get their NFTs, and they all become the quote unquote first buyers or insiders, and they all benefit from that. It's not just going to be one person who does that, unless they really, really believe in the system and they spend, upwards of like $1 million to buy all the tokens. But that's not happening, because we're currently 5 days in, and I think they have about almost half of the tokens sold altogether. Sorry, half of the NFT sold altogether. Anyway, let's keep going on to here to understand how the distribution works, so you guys can see. We can scroll down a lot here. I mean, a lot of this is talking about how P3D contracts work in general. You have a 10% fee for every single buy and sell, and so what that means is 10% of the tokens that you buy or the tokens that you sell is going to be redistributed to all SWJ holders. And that includes the NFT holders, because your NFT contains a pre-packaged amount of SWJ, right? So that's why you want to purchase the NFTs now, is if you believe in it. If you want to be one of those beginning insiders, that's what the NFTs are for. So scrolling down here, it's pretty far down. Let's go ahead and take a look at the distribution. Here it is. The 10% transaction fees, 8% is going to be distributed to all SWJ holders and NFT wallets. 2% is going to go to the DAO treasury, where it's going to be beneficial to the community and to the updates of the platform. And so far Gandhiji's been sticking around for a long time. These guys have been around for a while, so I don't anticipate them just disappearing, right? Since they stood through some pretty tough times when P3D contracts were going out of style. They're still here, so that's why it's a good team to believe in, for the long term, in my opinion. Scrolling down here a little bit more, like I said, it's mainly about the trading volume. If this thing does take off, you will benefit a lot from having tokens early, and in that case, it means having the NFT, which is the earliest that you can get the SWJ tokens, will be very beneficial if this thing takes off. And then they have a lot of other stuff that they're doing too, so it doesn't just stop there. A lot of times with the P3D contracts, they have their run, and then essentially what happened, the first P3D lasted a couple months, and then the clones afterwards, they lasted a few days and shorter and shorter. And then, because nothing else came out of it. The contract existed, people made some money from it, and then people left and found the next one. So the good thing about Gandhiji is they're doing other things in addition to just having the SWJ token and the NFTs. They're going to be doing a DAO. They're going to be doing another thing like a sort of a court, which, that's neither here nor there for me. But the last thing they're doing is kind of the exciting thing. They're going to be doing an exchange. So here's kind of the spark, and what's happened is they're doing their NFT pre-sales. They're 500 NFTs. 90% of all the ETH generated from the NFT pre-sale is going to go to the SWJ smart contract. So again, that's where you guys are. That's where the funds are going. They're not just going to be going directly to the people. 10% is going to be reserved for the index development and infrastructure development. Infrastructure delivery. So the index, IND-DEX, is sort of the last phase that I'm sort of really excited for. Once they go through their P3D contract and maybe the hype dies down for that a little, then you still have something to look forward to with their decentralized exchange. And the same way that goes with other decentralized exchanges, as you have trading fees from people trading back and forth. Trading fees go to the liquidity pool. In this case, some of the trading fees are going to be kicked right back to the holders of the SWJ token and in the NFT. So that's a big deal. If, like I said, if all this stuff works out successfully, it can be a very, very lucrative opportunity for the people that just believe in the system from the get-go. And that's sort of what this NFT sale is about. It's, do you believe in the system? If you do, and we're successful, you will be the ones that benefit the most. That's what the whole NFT thing is about. So you guys, like I said, you guys can take a look at all this on your own and make your own mind up. I'll show you guys, let's see, what, I'll I bought one NFT. So let's go ahead and see if we can get that loaded up here. So we'll connect the wallet. I'll show you guys how to do it. Once you connect your wallet, you're going to go to the home screen and where it says NFT presale. And then that's where you can purchase your NFTs, right? So down here, you can see my pre-sale NFTs. So far I have one. I'm thinking about getting some more right now. The first 150 are sold out, and the second tier 93 are sold out. Once it gets to 150, then those things are going to be worth 1 ETH each, so it gets even more expensive. So definitely time sensitive. There's no referral link or anything like that, but if you want to get here, I'm going to use my domain. Go ahead and go to kingoffomo.com/ let's do /SWJ to make it simple, /SWJ, and it's going to link you to this page where you can read about it and jump in on it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section, and you can also follow my Telegram page. That'll be in the description below. I'll have another link in my website somewhere else, but so far just look in the description below for the Telegram page and we can talk about some more stuff. And I'm going to go ahead and make my second video. It's about Polygon 60, sort of more of a degen play. All right, guys, that's everything for today. I'll catch you in the next video. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace out.